two pieces in Indra's net I think of as the connective tissue. One is called Anthem and one is called Rotation. So I have been working on the music, I've been working on the ideas, and teaching at Harvard for the spring of 2020 with Katie Geisinger, who was assisting me. And boom, then came the pandemic, and I was thinking, what can I do? And so when the pandemic hit, I was thinking, how can I go on working with, this material? So the first thing I started thinking about was, how could I perhaps make videos that I could send out to anyone that wanted to look at them as kind of meditative pieces from Indra's net. It would also be a way that I could continue working on it. But my idea really was to have them 24 hours a day, that you could just have them almost like a home installation and use it as a meditative aid. So the first one we worked on was with Anthem, and that was with a wonderful group, Alarm Will Sound. And so I said, I have a piece called Anthem, and it has delays that are written right into the piece. And because I thought, well, with Zoom, that you're going to always have these delays. And then it turned out that we used another program that was called Jamulus that didn't have delays, but the delays are still in the piece. So, and that was a very meditative piece, and it was a wonderful experience for us, for the ensemble and Alarm Will Sound. It was very positive. And Rotation is the installation that you see when you walk into the armory. So it's just set up and repeated. And that also is the last music in the piece of Indra's net. So I wanted to have the audience have the sense of sacred space, that they could, that the installation is part of a performance, they're woven together. So you got the sense of the whole beautiful armory space, not just the performing part of it. Well, some people stay and stand and hang out, and some people want to find their seats. And then there's a chorus that we call the Mirror Chorus. It's 8 young singer movers, and they're doing very slow and very sculptural material, each in their spot, so the audience can go very close to see them. So it's a kind of preset, and then they take their seats, and then the orchestra enters, and then that's the beginning of the piece. And then it kind of comes around, because the last piece in the live piece is Rotation. And then I have a little shrine when you walk out, almost like a little coda of people shot very close, like just waist. You only see like their hand offering like a tiny little object, like a safety pin or 2 dice, thinking about just how magical just our ordinary things are as human beings. And also the idea that maybe 2,500 years from now, what would they think a dice was? It's just that time, archaeological kind of time. I wanted to just offer something where the audience also feels part of this ritual. And sound is a very healing element. They say it's the last perceptual aspect that we hear when we leave the planet. Visually is also very rich. So I'm just hoping that people will be able to, in a sense, slow down a little bit. It's quite slow. And people are used to very fast images and, a lot of not sitting with something for a while. But I think if you just let go and you just go into it, you leave with a very different mind. I think you leave with a mind rested, hopefully. Hopefully Indra's net is a ritual that will be a healing experience for people in this time.